Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to No Bullshit Blockchain. So today I'm going to talk about how a Quebec pension fund lost $150 million on the now defunct Celsius platform. So many people probably already know plenty about Celsius and how they were basically pretending to be something that they weren't, more or less, and were extremely overleveraged in DeFi protocols such as Maker, Aave, and Compound. I guess what's coming more to light now is just how widespread in terms of their customer base it was, because I feel like this is probably not the only pension fund that's going to start really coming out and saying that they've had to post losses because of their exposure to Celsius. I think at one point Celsius had like 1.7 million customers, so quite a few people have been affected by Celsius. I think it was back in 2021, in October, when this pension fund, which goes by the name of Caisse de dépôt et placement de Québec. I'm not very good at French, so I apologize if I butchered that. But they wrote off $150 million, $150 million US, in their investment in the bankrupt cryptocurrency lender network Celsius, which is, I think that's another big problem with this is they were not a lender or a borrower application. They took clients' money, they took their assets' money, the Ethereum, the cryptocurrency that the depositors deposited, and they put it into DeFi applications. And then they over-leveraged themselves and were acting like a bunch of degens, basically, is kind of how this all more or less has come to light and how it played out. Celsius ended up having something like more than $1 billion in owed assets, or $4.7 billion is what it owns or what it owes to its clients. It's something insane. So, and the worst part about it is most of these people will probably never see their money, most of the actual users. So, that's another really crappy thing about the whole situation. Reflecting back on it too, when you think about it, much of this could have been avoided had these people just used DeFi. They could have just used Compound, Aave, Maker. There's plenty of these DeFi applications for stablecoins. You can use Bitcoin if you know how to wrap Bitcoin or use RenBTC. You can use Bitcoin on these DeFi applications. You can use Ethereum. There's plenty of tokens now that you can get a yield on. And the best part about it is there's no middleman. You're not going to pay anything in fees to somebody or to some kind of exchange or to some other central authority. The entire purpose of decentralized finance was to remove your need for the bank to get yields on your assets. So that's the painful thing for me to see and reflect back upon, is that, again, much of this could have been avoided had just some due diligence been done, As well, too, when you think about due diligence, you talk about a lack of due diligence, what about this pension fund? Were they looking into exactly how Celsius was functioning? Doesn't look like it. It's just another classic case of FOMO, in my opinion. And they're not the only one. This another pension fund. This time it's a Fairfax County VA pension fund that manages $6.8 billion, put $70 million into two yield farming cryptocurrencies. Yeah. So the Virginia pension fund has invested $35 million in each Parataxis Capital Digital Yield Fund and the VanEck New Finance Income Fund. Both of this will generate income for investors that provide liquidity to specific crypto entities. So I imagine it's probably something similar. I think Celsius was in the beginning saying that they were getting the yield for their investors from exchanges, and it turns out they were just using DeFi applications. I imagine it's probably something similar to these. I haven't looked into either of these, but I imagine it's probably something similar. And maybe they're going to do it a little bit less degen like this time around, or for these ones, but it doesn't matter. It's the same kind of problem. What you have is people trusting their finances to other people that don't necessarily have the best interest at heart, and as well too, they're putting this money into what they think is cryptocurrency, what they think is DeFi, but it's not DeFi. This is not actually on chain. These protocols don't exist on chain. And so, yeah, it's just frustrating. Yeah, I guess it's sort of frustrating for me to see that, because there's no barrier to entry really for anybody when it comes to using DeFi. You just need a cryptocurrency wallet, access to the internet, and the relative cryptocurrency for the certain chain that you're using. If it's Ethereum, then you just need some Ethereum to pay for gas on the applications. And then you can get a yield on whatever you want. And like I said, there's plenty of interesting pieces of technology, like RenBTC, which allows you to take your Bitcoin and allows you to put it onto the Ethereum chain. And then you can use it in DeFi and you can get your own yields. And again, the best part is that you don't answer to anybody. There's no KYC. There's no central authority. You're not going to have to run into this issue with Celsius because these applications exist on chain. You notice kind of something interesting that's been happening really recently, like all of this stuff ever since Terra Luna, their algorithmic stablecoin went crazy, that all of the things collapsing are these wannabe, Cefi things, these centralized finance, wannabe cryptocurrency protocol platforms like Celsius. Those are the ones going down because, a lot of their entire business model was built around what should be seen, in my opinion, as fraud, because they were not upfront and honest with their investors about what exactly they were doing with their money, and not honest about how they were generating the yields they were putting on their website. And many times the yields didn't make any sense in compared to what you would see on actual DeFi protocols that they were using, like Aave, Compound, and Maker, because those you can look for yourself right now and just go see the yields. And sometimes on Celsius's website, the yields would not match what you would see there. So perhaps they were recompounding, perhaps they were yield farming. Either way, that was not made clear to their investors and to the people that use that platform. And I really wish that there was more education around this. A lot of people within the cryptocurrency space on YouTube and crypto Twitter do a lot for getting the education out there. Coin Bureau is great for that. Chico Crypto's research is always amazing. There's a few really, really good people, and it's unfortunate that some of the other ones are really just focused on kind of like the degen side of this entire industry. And a lot of them push centralized exchanges and these types of platforms, and they make a lot of money through affiliate marketing, whether they want to admit that or not. And so I think that's kind of fed into this, and it's allowed for something like Celsius to have such a wide-reaching effect when it went down. And I really see it as a problem for cryptocurrency in general in the future. And so I'm hoping that this is a learning lesson. And I think that people are starting to kind of understand that these centralized authorities, they can't really be trusted. You're going to have to take your funds into your own hands, and you're going to have to, go on chain and use the DeFi protocols and get away from these central authorities. They only have power so long as we still use them. And, if it's for the sake of this perceived convenience, you should ask yourself if you're willing to accept the type of risks that seem to be coming with it. Because the people that lost their money from Celsius, I guarantee mostly of them are never going to see it again. And, you could say the same thing about being involved in a rug pull. And that's totally fine. At least, you are 100% in control of your decisions. There wasn't some faceless kind of company, more or less, doing this for you. And I make the argument here that people should be using the DeFi applications more, and these 1.7 million total users that Celsius had amassed, they all could have been using DeFi. And if they were using Aave or Maker, or if they were using Compound, they'd be totally fine. Sure, the cryptocurrency market has taken a hit overall, but these protocols are not going insolvent and having to declare bankruptcy. That's the complete difference. And that's the problem I think people have failed to recognize. So we'll see. And I think this pension fund is working with the Securities and Exchange Commission to try to investigate what happened and see if they can return some of their clients' funds. Hopefully that they do, and hope that this is a learning lesson, that people can begin to understand that DeFi decentralized finance, real decentralized finance, takes place on chain, takes place on these DeFi protocols that you access, through your Web3 wallet. So yeah, I hope you guys found that informative. I'll leave the links to the articles that I've been referencing here on the video in the description, and as well too, if you guys like the video, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tell me your opinion on this kind of a thing. It helps feed the algorithm, and take care and stay safe.